pack, basically, when you put it on, you winch it up, it pulls the whole thing out. Thank you. But even those are probably, after everything's said and done, $2,000 after you have the pole and have it set, and you know. Carrie, you might do a prayer. 2 in a row. I remember that.
Yeah. Good now?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call our Tuesday, December 9th council meeting to order. If you would, please rise and join us for a prayer and the pledge.
Please bow your heads with me. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and the many blessings you've given us. Lord, we thank you once again for this community that we're all so blessed to serve. And Lord, we just thank you for these council members who provide the volunteer time that they do to make difficult and progressive decisions for this community. Lord, we ask that you be with the meeting tonight. You be with these council members and help them to make the decisions as you see fit to continue for the betterment of this community. Lord, we thank you for each person present this evening, for the impact and the things that they do as a part of this community. We just ask that you be with each of us, help us to have safe travels home tonight back to our families. We just ask that you lead us and guide us and forgive us where we fail you. We say all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Let's move on to roll call.
Mayor Kennedy?
Here.
Chairman Pro Tem Lewis?
Here.
Councilwoman Uplinger?
Here.
Councilwoman Pettit?
Here.
Councilman Blades?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. And having no public comment tonight, we'll move on to council forum. Chairman Pro Tem.
Yeah, I had attended a school board meeting last night, and the community Christmas at the Armory. I didn't make the tree lighting, so my apology there, but great attendance, lots of smiles, and then attended a call with BSNA, our new software vendor, with Jessica to convince them to try and get some historical data into the dashboards. So I think they're going to try and work on that. So that's all I got.
Okay.
I also didn't get to make it to the tree laying ceremony, unfortunately, but that morning I was able to go to the pancake breakfast put on by the fire department. So anybody that didn't make it over there missed out on some good food, and hopefully they'll do it again soon. So.
I went to the downtown Christmas at the Armory, and if nobody else in here went, you missed a good event. It was very well attended. I don't think they could put another vendor inside the Armory. The quality of the products was just spot on. It was really, really good. Then as it closed down, we went down to the square at the open lot over there, and they had a heated tent. And at one time I was shocked because it was so cold. There were 78 people in that tent and still more coming in. I was shocked. And even shocked more, they all went out for the tree lighting. And it was so thankful having those fire pits there to stay a little bit warm as we were outside. So it was a phenomenal event, so kudos to them. Let's see, I went to P&Z, Planning and Zoning, I guess it was last week. Had a successful meeting, which we'll be following up on that tonight. Went to the City of Aurora Christmas party at the rec center, and that was well attended and great prizes, and food was phenomenal. Let's see, and then today I had a solid waste meeting, and it was just kind of year-end, finishing out stuff. And the grant cycle was open, but closed yesterday at 3. And we submitted for a grant to begin a recycling center here in Aurora, so.
Exciting. Parade meeting today with Shannon. Parade is this Saturday at 2, so come down and see the festivities. And our second flag meeting with Aiden is tomorrow.
Oh, good.
So we're getting forward and progress on that.
All right. I went to Downtown Christmas and the tree lighting event, and then the employee appreciation / Christmas party, and then we have a park board meeting coming up next week, which will be discussing the park reviews that all the park board members have been running around
Good.
and evaluating the parks. So excited to hear what they come up with. All right, moving on to consent agenda, which contains the approval minutes for the regular session November 25th and the December 2025 appropriations.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion is second. Please vote.
Motion passed. Sorry.
Thank you. Old business 7.1, second reading of ordinance number 2025-3360, enacting chapter 550 vacant commercial building registration. Any further questions on that, council?
We had discussed this before, but we were going to determine what insurance needed to be covered on that building based upon what the county assessed that property was worth. There's nothing in there. All it says is that proper insurance covered for the building. Well, somebody could go get $100 of insurance, and who's to judge what's proper? So we did talk about previously with the city attorney here of contacting the assessor's office of doing maybe a percentage of what that building is assessed at of covering.
Yeah, I do remember the discussion. So thinking the nuts and bolts of that, we're applying that at what point? Are we reviewing that at the time of an incident, or are we wanting that on file?
It should be, I think, in the ordinance to start out with. And we could possibly pass this tonight with an addendum of that and get it fine-tuned. I mean, you guys know how that works.
So this is second reading before you tonight,
Yeah.
so we have a couple of options. You can pass second reading, giving me direction to bring back an amendment, and that would get the ordinance in place. Or you cannot pass this and have me bring it back again with that revision in place on the ordinance before you do any passage of it.
Okay.
Well, I think the bulk of it is good. Does anybody have any objections to doing it?
I agree.
an
I
addendum?
don't want to delay it based upon that, but I would like for us to do an addendum in January, give us time to work on that.
We could bring back a revision to that code section after
Okay.
it's implemented then if you
Okay.
passed it tonight, but it would be January before I get
Yeah.
it to you.
Does anybody have any comments on that? Am I off the wall on this?
No, I think I know where you, understand the reasoning, that makes sense. I guess, small part of me wants to fear is like having this because so cumbersome that's hard to implement or to do. But I'm not against, looking at, maybe if you work with Carrie, just throwing this out here, and we have a discussion about the amendment later, we could talk through.
Okay. Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking in my comment was who's going to go through to make sure every single one of the properties that this possibly would apply to and get all that information to line that out annually, I would assume.
Yeah, that would be a similar thought process to me to like our contractors. Right now with our work comp insurance and that kind of thing, when it's provided, they're required to have us as a certificate holder and sometimes additional insured, depending on the level of work that they do in the community. If they're an additional insured, then we're automatically a certificate, we're provided a certificate from their insurance at renewal. So it would be an initial verification that their insurance is on file with us, and then we just have to make sure that we receive that annually. Or if we receive notification that insurance has canceled, then we'd have to take action.
Okay.
Okay. And I guess the whole point is, I'm not going to, I'll just pick on a building, okay? And it falls in, and they don't have insurance to cover anything to remove it. Whereas if they could carry, whatever the county says is assessed for, we could have them claim that insurance to clean that property up.
Sure.
So, anyway.
Yep.
Because
Now,
it's their responsibility.
In our unsafe structure code, we do have insurance proceeds requirements right now, to where if there's a total loss of a structure due to certain things like that, then we receive 25% of their insurance check if they have it, and we hold that until the time they clean it up. That is in place,
Okay.
so long as they have the insurance on file,
Okay.
or it exists, let me say that.
You want to roll with that motion with the amendment?
Well, we're not gonna make a motion with the amendment, we're just gonna make a motion, then we're gonna
Well, yeah.
discuss that and then bring it back as an amendment. Is that okay?
Correct.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion to approve, the second reading of ordinance 2025-3360, enacting chapter 550 vacant commercial building registration.
I will second that motion.
Motion is second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you. 7.2, second reading of ordinance number 2025-3361, Empire District Water Company franchise agreement.
I'll make a motion, we approve the second reading of ordinance 2025-3361, Empire District Water Company Finance Franchise Agreement.
I'll second.
A motion is second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you. 7.3, second reading of ordinance number 2025-3363, fiscal year 2026 budget ordinance.
Council, the budget as it's presented to you tonight for second reading is with the amendment that you requested at your previous meeting to the 3% wage increase. And the remaining wage increase has been removed.
I'll make a motion, we approve the second reading of ordinance number 2025-3363, fiscal year 2026 budget ordinance.
Second?
Motion is second, please vote.
Motion passed.
New business, 8.1, oath of office and pinning of new police officer Landon Ellery.
Yeah, see there.
Raise your right hand. Do you, Landon Ellery, solemnly swear that you possess all the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of police officer, that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri, the provisions of all laws of this state affecting cities of the third class, and the ordinances of the city of Aurora, Missouri, and that you will faithfully demean yourself while a police officer of the city of Aurora, Missouri, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
In case everybody doesn't know, that's Mom. Just pinned him, and Mom just retired as our
Court clerk.
of 173 years. So we're happy to have her back in this room to pin her son, and gonna start a career with the city, so we're keeping the bloodline.
All right,
That's good.
welcome aboard. 8.2, oath of office and pinning of new police officer Mark Stocker.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you, Mark Stocker, solemnly swear that you possess all the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of police officer, that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri, the provisions of all laws of this state affecting cities of the third class, and the ordinances of the city of Aurora, Missouri, and that you will faithfully demean yourself while a police officer of the city of Aurora, Missouri, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Good job. Aw, that's great. Aw.
These two are graduating officially from the police academy on Thursday night. They're in the same police academy, but they've already passed all their tests and all of that, so there's no surprises. They're ready to go. So
That's great.
I'll be there Thursday night to root them on.
That's
All right.
awesome. Good job.
Good to have you. 8.3, discussion, Doty Trash annual rate.
I'm going to step up here for this, council. So the reason this comes before you tonight, so our contractual agreement between the city and Doty Trash Service requires that by December 1st, they submit to us their rate for the following year. We actually have a conflict in that contract. One area says November 1st, one says December 1st. And that's something that we had planned in previous conversation to adjust this year. But the issue that we've ran up against is that CPI that the contract requires them to use for solid waste and trash removal collection services did not come out for the October, which is what's required by our agreement. So I made some contacts, done some digging into that with the Department of Labor, and what they've indicated is, and you have a letter before you that Jessica provided to me today that I'm sure you've seen, so I'm repeating her a little bit. But the October is not available. What they intend to do is put out on December 17th a combined data from October and November, which presents a little bit of concern. So we've been having some conversations, Waylon and Jessica and myself, about the best approach to that. So prior to bringing you guys their agreement for renewal, what I've asked them to do is just provide some information and a proposal about what they think would be the best and the fairest for both entities involved. And Waylon is here tonight to discuss what they are proposing to you and answer any questions that you might have regarding that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think given the circumstances, the date isn't coming, so.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks
Good
for
afternoon.
letting me speak with you guys tonight. Didn't really know for sure how to go about this and what was fair for is this, and that's what we do. But that wasn't the case this year, so I talked to some other companies, and they said just go with the highest number. And I'm like, which those were larger corporations, and I don't think that's fair. So that's not what we did. My suggestion, and I'm open to different suggestions if you guys have anything else, was we looked at the CPI for the past 5 years, 2020 to 2025. Obviously, there's not one for October, but we just did the average for the 5 years, and that brought us to the 5.02%, which would have been, I believe, like 68 cents, if my numbers is correct. And that would be just for residential rates only. That wouldn't affect the commercial. There's not a whole lot of commercial involved with the contract, but that would be just for residential rates.
I didn't see on here where it was said 68 cents. Does it say it actually on here?
I don't think Jess actually
Okay.
put the numbers in
Okay.
there.
I just want to make
but
sure
it
if I
would
missed
be-
it.
Is that right, Carrie?
Yeah.
68 cents?
That's what we discussed,
Okay.
yeah.
I think
It would
that's
be a
manageable.
68 cent
Yep.
increase per household.
Okay, that's not bad.
Question. So, there's a conflict in the contract. One says November, one says December. What date? Have we agreed on what date it should be going forward?
I believe we're gonna make it November moving forward.
Okay.
That's fine.
They were fine either way, but I need more time. So
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Can we do November 1st with an October?
we would have to adjust what month we're looking at for the CPI.
Yeah,
if we
it's
do
like,
that.
it's gonna come out until mid-month, right?
Yeah, and my concern is, so typically it's, middle of the month, the following month.
Yeah.
So my concern is, if we have that November 1st notification date, I've got to get that right to you guys in order for us to implement. And our notification, this is something we had ran up against last year. We don't have a written notification requirement or a law that requires an amount of notice to our citizens, but staff would like to have as much time as possible to notify citizens and get that out there before it goes into effect. So we would prefer November 1st, but we would have to adjust your CPI then as well.
Yeah. So what if we just this year calculated off what we know, right? Like, what if we made the cutoff September, and then next year we do October to November, and then we're getting actual data, and we're not rounding and guessing, and it's just real.
I'm fine with
actual-
that. That's obviously a little bit higher, 5.4. So I'm not gonna complain on that, but I'm not gonna push for that either. So my fear actually, and I mean, I talked to Carrie about this, is I didn't really wanna wait for November because I really think if they combine October, November, it's gonna be closer to the 6%.
So are we not doing an average of the year? We're just taking that 1 month?
Just the one, cause we're typically basing everything off October. So I just did the average for October only for the last 5 years.
Feels like we should look at the annual
That's what I thought it was.
number in October, right? Or whatever date we want to pick, right?
Mhm.
Because month to month, it could be doing this.
Yeah, and you can see that in there. I mean, like January's for this year was 3.8, February 5.1. I mean,
Yeah.
June's pretty high, July's pretty high, and it kind of starts dipping down a little bit in September.
Does that seem
Mhm,
logical to
mhm.
everybody?
That's actually what I thought we were
I
doing.
assumed that's what we
Yeah.
were doing, so.
The addendum to the agreement does specifically call out using using the October only, so we would need to
Yeah.
amend that as well.
Yeah, we need to make it
What's
for
the
a whole
logic behind
year
that?
average.
I'm not sure it was prior.
Yeah, that was prior. I can tell you in our other city contracts, we spell out what the rate increase would be
Yeah.
every year. Like when we bid on it, let's say we bid on it for $11 for year one. Year two would be $11.25. Year three, year four, year five. When we kind of spell that out, when it's based off the CPI, it could be 1% increase a year or 6%. You really don't know. You can't spell it out year to year.
Is there a specific month that it's usually lower?
If you look at your chart,
Typically,
the
looks to me
beginning,
like January's the lowest.
Okay,
Just quick look through. June, July's the highest. September, October, it kind of goes back and forth a little bit. September, October.
when is our contract, when is it time to renew it?
We'll bid again for 2027.
Okay.
Well, you wouldn't have to bid again.
Well,
If you
you
could
have
bid
the
it.
option.
to bid
Or
again.
you have the option to extend with them
Yes,
up to 3 times annually
Okay.
after their first 3 years.
yes.
I'm fine with whatever, just to keep it simple. We're talking about pennies probably either way, but I think I would like to review this and look at it, an annual number, not just one single month out of the,
yeah,
No, I'm
to be
all-
fair to both.
yeah,
Yeah,
Because we
no,
could get
I'm all-
lucky with a real low month or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, there's some upsides to the CPI. There's some downsides to the CPI.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of it, but I kind of like to tell everybody up front what.
I
What
like
it's
following
ahead,
it.
you
It's not a
know.
number we're calculating, it's not a number you're
Mhm.
calculating, and so it's
Right.
pretty fair in that sense,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
and in essence, that's what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, but the government shutdown
Hmm.
didn't allow for that this year,
Yeah.
so.
I know when we figure the sewer bill, it's rated upon the water usage, and help me out, is it December, January and February? And that's when the lowest water usage is.
Yeah.
So maybe the thought previously was October maybe was the best for the consumer, CPI. But I agree with you, Jason. I think we need to do a whole year. We could approve it now like it is to be able to move forward and then just adjust it.
So tonight, I just brought it to you as a discussion with
Okay.
intent for you to give me guidance on how we bring the agreement back to you.
Okay,
So my goal was for him to make his proposal to you and kind of get some consensus from you guys about
Mhm.
how you'd like to go about it, and then we can absolutely make that change in this contract agreement as long as Waylon and Jessica are okay with it.
Yep. Yeah, I obviously haven't looked at the CPI for the whole year, what that would be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did run the numbers for all of October back to 2015, and it was like 3.8, but that was obviously 5 years pre-COVID, so a little bit different times, but.
I'm good with I'm good with it as it's written, because that's how it's currently standing, but I did go at it thinking that we were talking about a trailing 12-month average, not 1 month, so I think it would be good to see that, because then we get everything balanced out.
So for this year's agreement coming back to you, I wanna make sure I'm clear, cause we've talked about 2 different things. You want us to go, you don't wanna do the September, you want me to go back and look at the last year.
If everybody's okay with it, yeah, I think we were looking at a trailing the last 12 months, right?
Okay,
I'm fine either way. For this year,
okay.
moving forward,
I think it's
future
probably pretty
tense, I
close.
think a yearly number is more accurate than
So we
picking
would
1 month out of the year.
adjust that annual requirement to be a review of the 12 months.
Yep,
Yes.
And
And do the
specify
same for this one.
the range, yep.
You good with that?
Once I see the number, I'll say yes or no.
Okay,
Fair enough.
so I will
I'm
prepare
guessing
it in
it'll be
that
about the
fashion.
same.
Well, I just say that because if it comes back at like 2%, I probably wouldn't agree to that.
It won't.
It could be. I don't think so. I would say it's gonna be around the 5%, kind of, if we did it up based off this year, so it's probably gonna be about the
Yeah,
same.
quick look,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna benefit you more than it does me.
I'm not really greedy, but I'm just saying.
Okay. So we will look at it in that way and prep the agreement to bring back to you at your next meeting.
Okay, I just did the math for the preceding 12 months, what you have presented, and it came out to basically 5%.
I was
So,
thinking it was gonna be pretty
so it's in the
close.
ballpark.
There we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's right around there.
Yep.
Any other
Okay.
questions?
I do not.
All right, well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Can you hang around for one right after this next one?
Yes. Yeah, we have more.
Yeah.
8.4, resolution number 2025-2065, sewer payment late fees waived.
Council, I mentioned this in my last management report to you, that due to the software switchover, we're unable to take credit card payments the 8th through the 15th. This is just a formal resolution asking you to waive those penalties for sewer payments in December.
Is that citywide, like, what, I assume the rec center has the ability to run a credit card and, you know, if the pool's not open, but if it were, right, we could run concession there, like, what?
Totally different software. So the rec center goes through DaySmart on all credit card payments, and then we have to do internal transfers to get that to the general fund bank accounts.
Yeah.
So their system is different.
Just thinking out loud, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I'll make a motion, we accept resolution 2025-2065 sewer payment late fees waived.
Second,
Motion and second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
8.5, resolution number 2025-2066, property use agreement, Doty Real Estate LLC.
Council, this comes to you after conversations regarding our current brush site that we have at the wastewater facility. And due to the floodplain situation there and just wanting to get it to a different location, we went through city-owned properties and tried to assess a good location for this, but in the end, this seemed to be the most viable option. So this agreement, I drafted initially, legal counsel has gone through it, made some changes and some additions. And this is presented to you for the agreement to use the property owned by Doty's east of town, which is identified there in the agreement. In exchange for that, as we've discussed previously, we would install fencing around the designated area to be used for the brush and yard waste drop-off site, an entrance gate, and then some improvements to the driveway via gravel. That would be the exchange for the use of the property. This is just a one-year agreement that we can revisit next year or make changes to accordingly. Doty has also, Doty Real Estate has reviewed this, and they are accepting of this agreement as well.
I just appreciate them working with us on it and allowing us to not have the limb and leaf pickup interrupted, so much appreciated.
What is the plan for public access, since it won't be on a facility that's, you know, we have staff going in and out of
Right.
every day?
As of right now, there will be no interruption to staff picking anything up and taking it out there, and we're working toward maybe one day a month or something like that for the current.
Okay.
The issue is without any kind of facilities or buildings or structures out there, putting staff out there on a regular basis, we just don't have the manpower or the structures there to do so. That's something I wanted to bring back to you guys for conversation and you to give me some guidance. We can work very hard to make that open, but it will take some manpower and trying to put together a program there. So
Okay.
we're thinking maybe one day a month for now, but if you'd like to see us do more initially, let me know and we'll try to work harder at that.
There's some other ideas we can kick around, but
Staff is open to any of those ideas. Right now, we're just trying to get the
Yep.
Yeah.
the location moved, and then we're happy to do what you want to do.
okay.
There's no structures out there, but there can be electric, it's just not turned on. There is a well, obviously doesn't have power. There is a couple septics out there.
Okay.
It could have structures.
Okay.
It's a structure.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-2066, Property Use Agreement, Doty Real Estate LLC.
Second?
Motion and second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you. 8.6, resolution number 2025-2067, fiscal year 2026 Aurora Area Affiliate Grant Making Program.
Councilwoman Pettit asked me to place this on the agenda, so I'm going to let her explain what
Okay.
she's got here.
As you're aware, I applied for the solid waste grant, and when I did all the budget on that, to start a new facility is gonna cost the minimum of about $20,000. And I don't think we'll get all of that. I think we'll get some from that grant. So there is another grant, Community Foundation of the Ozarks, the local grant, and the submission of that is in December, and they will announce who the winners are usually in January. So I felt like it was an opportunity to use the same information from one grant to apply for the other, and hopefully we can get something to help us out. So,
Does this obligate us, if they give us, say, $1,000, does it obligate us to move forward with it? Even though we only got 1/20th, say, of the funds that we need?
you just talking about CFO?
Or
Okay.
either way?
We have to give a report from either one after a year of what we've done.
Gotcha.
So I don't think we're gonna have to give any money back as long as we're making progress towards the whole plan of it.
Gotcha.
Because the whole plan was, there's a pad that's like 58 feet by 58 feet. We have a bin that, our District N is gonna let us have, and it'll be able to receive, let me see, 3, 6, about 7 different types of products. And of course, Doty, they agreed to pull that trailer over to Monette. So the initial cost is really getting the gravel in for a pad, which we're gonna have it out the wastewater treatment plant area out there. So hopefully we can find a spot that we don't have to put as much gravel down there. And then it really needs to be fenced in, and only accessed during certain hours. So, but I think as long as we're making strides towards that. And also too, the District N, it's supposed to be completed within 1 year, but previous grants, you can ask her for a delay or extension or whatever, and it's usually no problem with that.
For your cost estimate, was that just the pad and the fence?
No, it was the pad, the fencing, it was the labor to help with receiving the product. It would be open from noon till 7 to accommodate people that don't work, could deliver in the morning, and then people that get off 5 or whatever could do it, after they got off work. And a sign, let me try to think what else is on that. Oh, also too, it needs to be, Doty's gonna take it to Monette, but we need to supply somebody, hoping on volunteers to help unload it over there, which would take it about 2 hours. So I accommodated, didn't count gas, but I did accommodate paying wages to go over 2 hours there and wages to come back.
Okay.
So, and I figured it 1.5 times overtime in case it fell that, so we could accommodate that, so. But as long as we're making progress toward it, I don't think we'll have any problems.
Okay. Any questions?
No, answer's mine. I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 2025-2067, Aurora Area Affiliate Grant Making Program.
Second?
Motion and a second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you. 8.7, first reading of ordinance number 2025-3362, plan review cost recovery.
Council, this is something that Community Development Director Gates and I have been working on together. Right now, our city code allows for plan review. We charge for plan review for internal type plan review. So in other words, what the building inspector or the community development director review or city manager reviews, we can charge an hourly rate on our city code currently. It does not really allow us to do full cost recovery on large-scale developments, stormwater calculations, things that we need reviewed by a certified engineer or our city engineers if it's a large-scale development. So we've done some research on other surrounding communities, and almost all, if not all of them, do a cost recovery ordinance like this specifically for that type of review. So that's what this is just solely if we have a large-scale development coming in and then we get an engineering bill for $2,600 that's separate and apart from city staff review, this allows us to invoice that developer for that cost. But it also allows us to make sure that we recoup that cost prior to issuance of a building permit. So we would make sure that all the plan review fees are covered and we're reimbursed for those prior to construction beginning. I just think it's a good move for us. Developers expect that, and kind of a cost of doing business type thing in most communities. And we've had a lot of expense with that kind of review due to our growth in recent years. We absolutely want to champion that growth continuing, but I just want to ensure that we are covering our costs when we do that.
So this would prevent like a school board doing something in a flood zone scenario, and just
Yeah.
as an example, and we had some review that went above and beyond and wanted to recoup that cost. This put that's in place for us to do that.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So, so long as a person is following proper channels, applying for a permit and submitting plans before they just start construction, yes. And hopefully our staff is catching that before they get to that point anyway. But to directly answer your question, yes, this allows us, stormwater calculations are something that are required by our code by a certified engineer. So I don't feel like our staff is always qualified to review that, and we want to ensure that we are monitoring that so that it's done properly. This allows us to cover that cost of that third-party service.
Okay.
Got it.
Make a motion, we accept the first reading of ordinance 2025-3362, plan review cost recovery.
Second that motion?
Motion and second, please vote.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 8.8, first reading of ordinance number 2025-3364, lot line adjustment, Deland.
Council, these next two agenda items both come to you from the Community Development Department and the Planning and Zoning Commission. Aaron is unable to be with us this evening, so I'm going to try to cover this for him. The first one, the lot line adjustment, property owner is Terry DeLand, and it's at 219 West St. Louis Street. So our code in Chapter 400 allows for lot line adjustments so long as neighboring property owners are a party to that and are willing. What they've done here is they've resurveyed, and the neighboring property owner is giving him a portion of his land. I believe it's like 15 to 20 feet, if I remember correctly. And that is just for him to be able to install a fence. Right now, they're encroaching on each other just for the installation of a fence. So the property owner has agreed to work that out with him in that fashion. Planning and Zoning held their public hearing, and their recommendation to the council is approval.
I'll make a motion to approve first reading ordinance number 2025-3364, lot line adjustment, Deland.
Second?
Motion and second, please vote.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 8.9, first reading of ordinance number 2025-3365, rezone request 321 East Locust Street.
Council, this one also comes from the Planning and Zoning Commission at their meeting held last week on the 2nd. Property owner is Brad Blankenship. This request is for a rezone from M2 General Industrial District to R1 Single Family Residential. This is for a parcel of land behind the where they reside, and they are zoned differently. So the property owner has made the request formally and met all the requirements. Public hearing was held at the Planning and Zoning Commission, and their recommendation is approval.
Question from maybe for P&Z member.
Yep.
Did the discussion come up of separating M2 or just rezoning that area completely to not be next to residential? Did that ever come up? Like,
It did not come up. I mean, there is no future use for commercial or manufacturing that area. It's just all residential.
Yeah.
So it did not come up.
I was just thinking of maybe that's something P&Z might be worth discussing, is rezoning everything over there that's M2.
Oh, you're saying
Yeah.
more. I missed your point.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
because I feel like, you know, if,
Okay,
like, let's say Brad did not own that could be something pretty intrusive
Yep.
on his residence, right?
Yeah.
And, which is, I'm sure, why he bought it.
yeah.
You know, so I was just thinking of the other folks
Yep.
in that area, if we're kind of starting, maybe that gives us worth a discussion for P&Z.
We did do a general rezone, just as a reminder, and maybe, I don't remember how long ago it's been, I feel like it was this council. We did a general rezone west of there in some neighborhood properties that were running into that same
Right.
concern. So we have done that before, and it was at direction of the city council to the Planning and Zoning Commission. So if you guys want to provide some direction in that way, we can ask the Planning and Zoning Commission to look at that area in general as guidance from you.
Okay.
I think, you know, with this, we're expanding the case for that, so Yeah.
Make a motion, we accept the first reading of ordinance 2025-3365, rezone request 321 East Locust Street.
Second?
Motion and second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you. All right, moving to staff reports, city manager report.
I do have a few things to highlight tonight, council. Police Department Shop with a Hero was held last weekend, successful event. Once again, that is an annual event. Local Heroes shopped with 29 kids, and that was local heroes from several different entities. So thanks to all of them for coming together to do that. And then they are preparing, as you guys have mentioned, for the Christmas parade and the side-by-side parade this Saturday. So that's another exciting event that happens annually in our community, and hope everyone can come out for that. Fire Department, in conjunction with the admin office, the emergency action plan. We're in final draft stages of that. We have the final draft, actually. And a stakeholder meeting is scheduled for January 14th for tabletop exercises. That's where we'll have the other entities come in again with us, the utility companies, medical providers, and county emergency management staff. We're gonna do some tabletop exercises based on what that plan says and just see how functional that feels between us and the other entities before we bring that to you for approval. So we're excited to be to that point in that process on that plan. I'm gonna skip down to the airport. Our annual capital improvement plan has to be submitted to MoDOT. That has not come before you guys for approval this year like I brought it last year, simply because we've had no changes. So based on the double project that we're now looking to do in 2026 and no changes to the following, we do not have to have any kind of adjustment formally approval-wise with MoDOT. We just have to do a resubmittal. So that is being submitted this week by our consultant to ensure that we have everything on file with MoDOT accordingly. Finance, BSNA software, our training and implementation on site has begun. So we have 2 people on site this week in City Hall and doing different trainings, and basically they're starting staff training while we tell them, no, that doesn't work. And then they're still making adjustments this week. So, so far it's going smoothly. We do have training tomorrow morning for all department heads to start getting a good idea of general navigation of the software.
So one quick comment about that. I would just encourage them to document anything that they don't feel like is right before those folks leave, because once they do, it's kind of tough
Yeah.
sometimes
Okay.
to get those folks that are traveling back and to work on open items. So
Sure.
just
Okay.
document,
Okay.
and we can hold them accountable to those
Okay.
service levels.
I did come in on the tail end of some training this morning on business licenses, general merchant and contractors, and as usual, I started asking lots of questions and digging in to a training that I wasn't even originally going to be in, but it resulted in me asking several questions for clarification, and they've responded to me via email today with some follow-up. So we are trying to track all of that and make sure we get some answers already, but I appreciate you mentioning that. We'll make sure that we do that through the process. Community development and public facilities, the City Hall rehabilitation project continues. As you've noticed tonight, the ADA ramp, it will be closed for the next couple of weeks. They are about ready to start tearing into that completely. With that being the case, I'm gonna skip a little bit here. Our park board meeting scheduled for December 18th. We're gonna move that to the PFF facility. And then I wanted to ask I'm hoping that before your next meeting, everything's back open on this east side with that ramp. For some reason, should it not be, does the council want to consider moving, or do you want to just continue to stay here?
I think we need to move. It's gonna be closed for,
I'm hoping it's
the
not
next-
for your
yeah.
next meeting,
Yeah.
but I just want to make sure that I know kind of where you're at on
Yeah,
that.
I think we need to accommodate the public,
Yeah.
maybe at the police and fire or the rec center,
Yeah,
whichever one.
okay. So admin and human resources, the employee appreciation luncheon, I just wanted to take a minute. That was a really great party again this year. Staff feedback was great. I want to say thank you publicly to Kami and Kim. They coordinated every bit of that. They had zero help from me this year on that again. Rec Center staff for the setup, and then thank you to the City Council for allowing us the ability to provide that event for staff. It really is a good time. I appreciate those of you that were there and completely understand the ones that couldn't make it. And I want to say thank you to the local businesses for the donations. It's incredible to me, and I told the staff this, that it took me longer to read the names of the winners in the drawing than it did for us to eat. And we had lots of employees there. That's pretty incredible that this community gives to us in that way, and shows that kind of appreciation. So it shows how much our staff is appreciated, and it's just a big deal. So I just want to say thank you to everybody involved for that. Liberty Utilities contacted me this week. Their local office will soon be opening to the public on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., closing from 12:30 to 1:30 for lunch. This will be for customers to ask questions and gain assistance regarding their bills and their accounts. So they've made some steps there. It's a request that this council had of them to get some people there so that they could get some help for local citizens when they have questions. So they are making a step in that direction.
Will they be able to actually pay their bill there?
She did not specify that. She said it
Okay.
would be for assistance with billing and accounts. So I
Okay.
don't know the answer to that.
Okay,
I can find out, though.
okay.
And then I've already mentioned the park board meeting. That's really the highlights. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have or provide any additional information you'd like.
I was gonna say, since Liberty has been such huge, in everybody's mind, it'd be great, the paper, if they could accommodate us, putting in an ad to let people know that they're going to start accommodating the public.
Okay,
So,
Yeah.
okay.
we can reach out.
Did we decide if we are or are not doing the second council meeting in December?
We need one.
That's
So
what I was
that's
gonna
another
ask,
thing
yeah.
I was gonna talk to you guys about tonight. Kami and I both were, we need one. So I'm gonna have to bring you a budget amendment for
Yeah.
2025. Primarily based on the SRF project, because we had some numbers there that were pretty fluid. So we'll blame wastewater, but, I'm kidding, if he's still here. But we do have some other items as well. So I do need to bring you a budget amendment, and then, some of these other second readings I'd like to get off our plate this year if we can. So,
Okay.
Kami and I were gonna propose to you, a reschedule. Do you wanna keep the 23rd, or do you wanna reschedule?
I think to me, 23rd's fine.
Yeah, I don't have an issue
Anybody
with it. I
else?
just wanted to make sure we were understood.
Okay, so we'll stick to our regular schedule. Kami, does that work for you? Or Kim, one of you?
Jason, is that good for you?
Whatever you guys need, make it work.
Okay.
Are you traveling?
I don't think so. Not yet.
And
Good.
you know, I'll be mouthy one time. Purchasing of the 911 only phone, I think you ought to talk about that for 3 seconds and put it
Oh,
out
sure.
there, because I think that's very exciting.
Sure. So Wes came to me with a request for purchasing a 911 only phone to be installed in the front lobby at the PFF. That we've had some feedback about that, over time. So he's dug in a little bit and found, so previously Wes had, contacted ASUS, and they were gonna be able to install one for us, but it was about $6,000, and it was gonna require a landline, which we're trying to get away from, because we have the voice over IP things now. So that is why we really hadn't done anything thus far. But then Wes did some research and came to me and said that, for probably less than $150, he can have a 911 only phone put in there, and in a box and secured and that kind of thing. So I've given him the go ahead and do that, so that we can get that there for people to utilize if they need it.
Great.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
All right. Any further, council? All right, with that, I will make a motion to move into closed session pursuant to RSMO 610.021 for items 1, 3, and 13.
Second, go ahead.
I'll second that.
Motion and second, roll call vote, please.
Mayor Kennedy?
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Lewis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Uplinger?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pettit?
Yes.
Councilman Blades?
Yep.
You are now in closed session.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Did you hear me? I almost said here. Okay, I had the same question. Basically, you put your results here, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
And this is how you would rank them.
Okay, gotcha.
I know, I